Hey everyone, I'm here with Rick Trevino. Hey Rick,
Hey, Jennifer.
nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
And he is with Palm Realty Boutique out of Redondo Beach, California. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. Nice and blue skies, nice cool breeze. Four
Oh
blocks from the
yeah,
ocean. I can't beat that.
you can't beat that. Well, I wanted to bring you on because you have a very specific process of how you communicate with your clients. And I think it'll be really helpful for people to hear how you do that, why you do it, and what your results have been. So would you please share with us what you do?
Sure. Yeah. Well, when I first started out in real estate, just like everybody else, well, just like a lot of agents, I was just on call all the time, and
Hmm.
that phone would ring, 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 and it was just driving me crazy.
Right.
So finally, I just got to the point to where I listened to another agent in my office, and I overheard what they were saying. So basically, whenever we enter escrow, I'll just be speaking with the buyer or the seller and say, "Hey, Jennifer, congratulations. So today we opened escrow, and instead of putting everything into one lump sum of what we're going to be doing, what I like to do is break it down into week segments. So that means that I'm going to be talking to you on a weekly basis. So I know that you're really busy, right? You got a lot of
Yep.
stuff going on at work, and plus you got the move that's coming up too. So what's going to be the best day and time that works for you so that we can get together on a weekly basis so that you can get all of your questions answered?"
I love this. I can see that that would calm them down a lot. Is that,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's also like, I imagine then you said your phone was ringing like crazy. So now what happens?
Yeah. So with that setup, the buyer or the seller, they get that, wow, this is the time that I choose that I want, and that I can ask as many questions that I want for that half hour. So it's cut out all the other calls. Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, during the first week and a half or so, when you get all the disclosures, the home inspection, all of those types of things, we're meeting in person over at the house, or we'll have a conversation, which I'm usually the one initiating. But what I'm cutting out is the calls from the client.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So and it works great. They really get that it's their half hour, they own it, and everything and anything that they want. And I tell them, look, it's up to you. If there's a question that you don't feel good about, then you need to let me know. And
Yep.
because my goal is to make you feel confident and secure so that you can move on to the next step, of this purchase. And if you don't ask that question, then I don't know how to help you
That's
with it.
true. I think too that there is some type of science around if it's like the same day and the same time, like your brain begins to work towards that. And it's like their questions will start to come up at that day and time. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I think there is something about that.
Yeah, it just gives them that just the comfort of knowing that it is their time.
Right.
I'm going according to what they wanted,
Yeah.
which which is great for them, and at the same time, I'm establishing something that I want, which
Right.
is the freedom,
No phone
so that
calls.
exactly, yeah. So it works for both sides. Yeah, are there things that they may call me out of the blue for? Yeah, but for the most part, setting them up with the hey, congratulations, we just opened escrow, and then blah blah blah, everything we said earlier.
Yeah.
That really cuts down on, I would say, 95% of the calls generated by them that are unnecessary.
Do you use this technique when you get a listing also? Or how do
Oh
you
yeah.
do communication before escrow?
Well, before escrow, so if I got a listing, everything's very systematic as far as when it comes to listings. And my whole thing with listings is I'm telling the seller, I say, look, we're the ones that have to be uh, dictating the narrative. As
Hmm.
long as we're in control of the narrative, then we're okay. The moment that we lose control of the narrative, then that means that the buyer has the upper hand.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah,
break
and
it
you've
down.
mentioned that before. I'll pull that other podcast and put the link in there too, because that was a really good point that you've made. before on one of the podcasts. Do you remember
Yeah.
what we were talking about? I think we were talking about calling agents before showings. Does that sound right?
I don't
I'll find out.
recall. Yeah, I know that the narrative for me really goes about whether it's with the other agent or with my client, with another agent, when it comes to like deadlines, right?
Right.
Contingencies and things like that. Um, I'll always call the other agent, and start off with an acknowledgement. Hey, Jennifer, you've been doing really great in getting everything back to me on time, and I really appreciate the way that you've been handling this transaction. Um, and I know that we've got the contingency removal in 2 days, so this is just a mere formality. Here's the notice to buyer to perform. Please get the contingency over to us, on time, and then we'll be moving forward with the transaction.
Do you
So
ever lie, Rick, if they haven't
now
been very good at getting stuff back?
I always find something to acknowledge them for. Okay,
Like,
there's
oh,
got to
you
be
have
something.
really pretty hair. So can
Um,
you please
it,
get stuff back?
it's typically something business related, but I'll never acknowledge them for something about their person, but just
Gotcha.
something about the transaction. I'll pick something.
You'll
Okay.
find something, I'm
Um,
sure. Like, thanks again
yeah.
for the offer.
Hmm.
Now we need to
Yes. Exactly.
need you to do
Yeah.
your job, please. Thank you.
Yeah. And then with the sellers, I'll tell them, look. So here's what we're doing, right? We just sent out that notice to buyer to perform. Okay, now this is on you if you actually want to follow through with this. The reason why we are sending out the notice to buyer to perform is to protect you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Okay,
Right.
because if that buyer can't perform, then dot dot dot, right?
Right.
So it's really just that lowers the guard for me, okay, with whoever I'm speaking to, so
Yeah.
that they understand that I'm doing what I'm responsible for. Now it's your option. How do you want to handle this?
Right. I like it. I hope that agents who don't have a system, try this out and see how it works for them and see if it does cut down on their clients calling them. Because I feel the same way. It's like, I mean, I do it more than once a week, and it's not the same time every day, but it's usually the same day.
Mhm.
Um, but it really does cut down if you're being proactive about making the call.
Yeah, definitely. Mhm.
I like it. Thank you for being on my team, Rick.
Cool. Thanks, Jennifer. All right. Talk
Have
to
a
you next
good
time.
one. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right, everybody, we've got our tiebreaker here, Mohammed Gamali. Hey, Mohammed, how are you?
I'm doing really good. How's your day going?
It's great. I hear that New York accent. So Mohammed is the vice president of sales at Legacy Financial. He's a lender in New York, but we thought he's going to be really great for this topic. So Mohammed, what do you think about how often should we as realtors and lenders communicate with our clients?
As much as possible.
That's a great answer.
As much as possible.
What's
Because
your
a lot of
process?
times they'll have questions. They're kind of scared to call. They think they're calling too much. Nah, annoy the hell out of them. Let them know that we're there for them.
Yeah. Do you have like a certain process that you follow?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I live by this. I pretty much live by my calendar. So somewhere between Sunday
You're a
late
man
night
after my heart, Mohammed.
is the only way to get things done.
True.
Between Sunday night and very early Monday morning, I send out an email to the realtor and to the borrower.
Okay.
An update of exactly what's needed, bullet points, everything with an explanation. By the time it hits 9, 10 a.m., I call them. If they
Okay.
didn't already call me just to go through it, because in all honesty, some of it might sound like gibberish.
Right.
So it's good to go through each point, let them know, again, to reiterate, I need every page of every document, even if the document is blank.
Yes.
Just go through the whole thing, answer any questions that they had over the weekend when, they met with the guy that makes the sandwiches, that gave them, their advice.
Right. You want to untangle everything that happened over the weekend,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Answer all the questions, get them comfortable. It's a big milestone event. The best thing we can do, other than get them the keys to the house and the financing, is make them comfortable, make it as easy as possible.
So after that, like every week you're doing kind of like next steps. What if, how sometimes there's like nothing, like we're just basically waiting for, usually it's underwriting. So like,
Yeah.
what are you saying to them during those times?
So let's say in an ideal world, I send everything Monday morning and they send everything immediately in an
Yeah,
ideal world.
right.
Normal turnaround time is roughly 72 hours. It does vary by bank. So
Okay.
let's say it hits Thursday and there's been no movement. I'm nervous myself if that happens. I'm
Right.
losing. So I can't even imagine what they're going through. So by Thursday, I'll just give them a call like, hey, I'm sorry, nothing's happened yet. It's happening for, insert the blank, whatever the reason is.
Hmm.
We're definitely going to speak tomorrow. And then,
So you're
just write it down and follow up.
usually, it sounds like you're usually calling them or making the contact before they're calling you.
A lot of times, don't get me wrong, I do have that client all the time that'll call me, Saturday night, or yesterday, I think my last call was around like 9 p.m.
Oh,
So sometimes they'll call, but I usually try to be preemptive just because when I'm going through my notes, it's a lot easier to call somebody once I'm going through it, or I just spoke to the processor and,
right.
we know this, and this is happening, rather than for them to wait to call and then I have to remember which client is who. And
Right.
some of them have similar names too.
True.
Like, it's happening to me right now. Two different sets of borrowers, very similar names, pronounced the same, is just spelled a little bit differently.
We've had it where it's been like two couples with both of them have the exact same first name. It's the weirdest thing. We're like, which one are you talking about? Like, are you talking about? And then you have to go by streets. Okay, so it sounds like you're once a week minimum, and then as things happen,
At least 2 times a week minimum.
2 times a week. Okay. Do you think will you do it on Monday morning or Sunday night?
Mhm.
Do you just do the other one just based on what's happening, or is there a
Yeah,
specific?
so Monday is, it's the initial one, the initial update. All right, this is what's happening. This is what I need.
Hmm.
We don't have this, and this is why you don't have your keys yet.
Okay.
And then, that goes to the realtor, that goes to the borrower. So everybody is, we're not playing telephone. Everybody knows exactly what's going on.
Right.
On Wednesday through Thursday is the follow-up call. All right, this is happening. This is our next step. This is what your expectations should be. We did this. This will be the next step that I expect. And you'll have the keys to the house roughly on this day.
Right. That makes
And
sense.
then if anything else happens in the middle that, okay, we have this document, but this page was missing, or, oh, okay, we have these bank statements. For some reason, you deposited $100,000. Where'd it
Hey.
come? Oh, that one happens all the time. Then, time to call. I'll send out the email, but everything's followed up with the call because in this business, we're used to checking our emails.
Right.
Normal people don't always do that.
Right.
Like I just got a new laptop. I just had to try to figure out what my passwords were.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I would say at least 2-3 calls, maybe minimum a week.
Did you always do it? Did you always have your communication kind of buttoned up and calendared, or did you learn this the hard way?
Oh no, I learned it the hard way.
What'd you
I
used to
learned it.
do?
I used to just kind of guess. I was like, oh, my phone's ringing. Okay, let me pick up. Oh,
Oh,
Mr. Brown. Which Mr. Brown are you?
right. That's painful.
Yeah, like I actually so I keep all my notes on Google Drive,
Yeah.
and then I walk around with the printed version because sometimes I'll get a call from a client that I spoke to like 2 months ago that all of a sudden, hey Mo, I took your advice. I'm in contract now. I went with somebody else, but now I need to actually close. So now we need to get moving.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, oh,
Okay.
you know,
I like it. All right. So twice a week. I like it. We appreciate you being on. Thank you so
my
much.
pleasure.